Showcase Yakima, a partnership of KYVE 47 and the Greater Yakima Chamber of Commerce.
So Tim, tell us about the bottle. First of all, getting started, you were in the outdoor industry, and you decided you wanted to create an aluminum bottle or manufacture one.
That's exactly right.
Walk us through the process.
Yeah, well, what happened was, I've been selling outdoor products into the outdoor marketplace for a number of years, and I'd had a couple of customers. One was REI, and another one was Amazon, and others, and they were looking for a domestically produced water bottle. And I thought, well, gosh, I could probably find one. Right. And so I traveled the country trying to find a water bottle that I could offer to them that was made in the United States. And I couldn't find one. And so the concept came to me like, well, gosh,
it's got to be a surprise, first of all, to realize it's just not being done.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, a lot of manufacturing has moved away from the United States, and we've lost a lot of that. And so most of the bottles that are being made currently are in China. There's a number that come out of Europe, but nothing was being made domestically in a reusable, durable water bottle container. And so that was kind of the concept to begin with. And I went to these retailers and I said, well, what if I did it? What if I made this bottle for you? Would you support me? And they said, yeah. And so that was the beginning of the concept and the development of a business plan. And so I went into that process in early 2008 and started developing a business plan and started doing all the research that needed to be done. And I probably spent a good year doing the research that needed to be done to be able to figure out if this was even viable.
Right, so you already determined there was a need there.
Yeah.
And so then at that process, it's like, okay, we have to put together the company. How are we going to do this?
Exactly. And so we had to figure out, okay, well, can you make a bottle in the United States and do it at a reasonable price point? Do we have the technology? Do we have the machinery? Is this even possible? And so we kind of went through that exploration and we came up with it. And we needed to come up with a design. And so, I worked with a design engineer and we came up with some concepts and we found some patentable aspects to our bottles. We came up with trademarks and we came up with, kind of the concept behind the company.
Was the idea right off the start to work with metal or aluminum specifically?
Well, we wanted to use a material that was 100% recyclable. And so we settled on aluminum because not only is it recyclable, but you can use 100% recycled material. And so aluminum happens to be the only material currently being used that can be a water bottle and can be recycled into another water bottle. Other materials like plastic and stainless steel and those types of things, they become a water bottle and then they become downgraded into a plastic wheelbarrow or a rebar or something like that. So aluminum is an element. It's number 13 on the periodic chart. It's an element. Sure. It can be purified. And so we use 100% recycled aluminum, and that was kind of part of our core thinking.
Okay, so you have the idea, you've got the business plan now, and then what's the next stage? I mean, deciding where you're going to be able to do it?
Yeah, so we needed to figure out, well, I live in Yakima, and I'd like to be able to have it here because, we're going to have jobs, and this would be a great thing for my community to bring jobs to this community. And so we looked at facilities, and we found a great facility here, and it was an existing building and it had, wonderful cranes in it for, placing equipment and that type of thing. So we were, kind of recycling a building as well. And so it made sense. And so 1 year ago, this building was completely empty. And so we started bringing in the machinery and setting up the plant. And then we actually built the plant and started delivering our very first bottle 6 months ago.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank you.
So manufacturing-wise, was there anything that, at the recent economic symposium, manufacturing has had the biggest degradation in the economy in Yakima County of any business over the last 5 years. Was there anything that you saw that would stop you from manufacturing here, or
no,
was there advantages?
No, I think there's some real advantages. I think, the fact that there are buildings available and cost of labor and the cost of facilities and the central location of Yakima with regards to distribution of materials and raw materials and that type of thing was very attractive. And You know, we've got Perry Tech and other, you know, trade institutions and that type of thing locally, and we've drawn on them. And so it's been, we've found it to be a really great environment for developing a manufacturing facility. We've also got some great partners in the Valley, other businesses who have been tremendously supportive. Cascade Quality Molding is just down the street, and they actually mold our cap for us here locally.
Yeah.
And so, you know, different tool shops, machine shops, and suppliers in the Valley have been fantastic. And our whole thought process is, if we can find it locally, we find it locally. If we can't find it locally, let's find it in the state. If we can't find it in the state, let's find it on the West Coast. But definitely, let's find it in the United States. Because not only do we employ people here, but by purchasing within the United States, we're employing and making sure that jobs are staying in the United States.
So it's a completely American made.
It's completely
made in the USA,
American
and I
made.
like that proudly on the label there.
Yep, every single one says Made in USA, and it's true because all of our machinery, all of our supplies, and all of our employees and everything we do is American made.
And I know that was important to you, also being very green
Absolutely.
and reusable.
Yep, absolutely. So everything being made from recycled material as well as recyclable material, and doing a manufacturing process that's a sustainable manufacturing process, not producing any waste or any pollution. We have a dumpster on the side of the building. We actually struggle to fill it every 2 weeks.
Oh, wow.
It's very difficult for us to even create here because everything we have is recyclable. All the raw materials, everything we do is recyclable.
Okay, now we're going to go see, and you'll walk us through the process of what it takes to, from start to end to make a bottle. But I think the last thing that everyone's curious about is, first of all, your name.
Yes.
And then kind of your stylized look. You really have, you guys have done such a great job with artwork and the entire stylized design of your product. So walk us through a little bit of a bottle. First of all, how about the name on there?
Well, Liberty is, I mean, it's a great American name. And, you know, when we were looking for a name to embody what we're about, Liberty was a good name. It also happens to be my wife's name, and so that really helps.
Oh yes, absolutely. When you're going to work every day with a company named after your wife, I'm sure she doesn't mind that.
It helps. It helps a lot when you're spending that much time. You know, our look, the stylized look, and you know, kind of our materials, our catalogs, everything we do. We use a lot of sepia, kind of black and white art, and we really are trying to herald back to the era of manufacturing in the United States. A time when the United States was known for quality, craftsmanship, and manufacturing. And that's what we're about. And so the stylized name, you know, a lot of people look at it and go, man, that reminds me of an automobile from the 1940s or 50s. And that's the intent.
It is
the
Americana,
intent. Yeah, it's Americana and it's heritage. It's about the heritage of quality manufacturing in the United States.
And as we introduce people to the bottles, I know they're going to want to get them. So real quick here in the Yakima Valley, where can I, if I want to go buy a Liberty bottle right now, support a Yakima manufacturer, somebody who's creating jobs here in the Valley, where can I get my bottles?
Well, probably the best place in town is Sport House. They were kind of our first retailer in town. There's a couple other folks in town who have the bottles now, but I know Sport House has a pretty good selection.
Okay, and then online, I'm sure at some of the...
Yep, available online at REI as well as Amazon and others.
All right. One of the unique features of Liberty Bottleworks is the artwork that is on them, and we've got the Master of Disguise, art director, Ricky. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
All right. Well, tell us a little bit about the artwork, and first of all, how is it chosen? Who does it? I know that you do some of it.
Sure. You know, art kind of comes to us in a variety of formats. There's custom artwork, which a lot of the bottles that you're seeing in front of us are custom designed. We have local companies like you know, Hotspot Yoga or Davis High School that come to us and say, hey, you know, we want to get our logo on your bottle. You know, we'll put anybody's logo on our bottle for free. No cost in creating or putting their logo on a bottle, which is, you know, quite nice. And they can get as little as 72 bottles for a custom job.
So really, so I can come in here if I've got the logo and I say I want this on there, and you can do a run of about 70 Minimum run of 72?
Yeah, so 72 is our minimums, one size bottle, one color, and it makes it really easy and affordable for us to run.
Nice. But you guys also have a line, well, a lot of lines of different stylized art and things that kind of fits people's lifestyle. How do you come up with the art for those, and where do you get your artists there?
You know, part of the mission of Liberty Bottles is to help the art community. Very minimal do we produce our art in-house. Most of it is done by external artists that are in the community or in the United States somewhere. We find them online. We have lots of artists who actually just email us directly and say, hey, we saw your product, we love it, how do I get my stuff on your bottles? So we kind of touch bases with them and communicate and get some samples of their work, and then we kind of just put it through a process of kind of elimination on what is marketable, what do we think we can sell, and those types of things.
Right, I see you've got artists from Nashville, Portland, for locally here in the Northwest, and also even a couple of Yakima artists.
Correct, yeah. You know, myself, I was actually one of the original artists when we launched our debut collection. I was one of the original artists before I came in-house to design for Liberty.
And then one other thing we want to mention too is that your artists have charities that they're involved with, and so you guys donate. Tell us a little bit about the donation program that Liberty does.
Yeah, you know, that's a great program that we have as well. Is we take something that the artists are passionate about, and sometimes they're involved in charitable organizations, like you said, and sometimes they're not. So you know, we give a 1% of their total bottle sales of their series to a charitable organization.
Very nice. Some of them, like the Cowiche Canyon Conservatory here locally. And
yes.
Also, we were talking about one of the schools that gets the donation from a local artist.
Right.
All right. Well, that's some great stuff, and thanks for showing us some of the artwork and some of the really cool parts of Liberty Bottleworks.
Very
Thanks a
welcome.
lot.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Showcase Yakima, a partnership of KYVE 47 and the Greater Yakima Chamber of Commerce. Underwritten in part by Thorner, Kennedy & Gano, meeting the legal needs of the Yakima Valley since 1976. And by Argus Insurance, helping you today to secure your tomorrow. And by Yakima Valley Regional Medical and Cardiac Center, home of the 15-minute ER guarantee. And by Central Valley Bank, large enough to serve, small enough to care. And by Treetop, 50 years of growing good. And by Fitterer's Furniture, quality furniture since 1896.